Hi, good morning. Today we are going to discuss topic number 14. The title is Coordination and Response. And in this topic, we have to discuss about the coordination, that how different organs play an important role in the coordination. So now come to the first slide here. See here, we have to discuss the nervous coordination first. Because there are two type of coordination. One is the nervous coordination, another is the hormonal coordination. Hormonal coordination is carried out by the hormones, and hormones, are the chemical that are secreted by some of the glands which are found in different parts of the body. And nervous coordination that basically, composed of the brain, spinal cord, and the nerves. So here you can see in the first slide, the human nervous system consists of CNS. CNS is stand for central nervous system, which has the brain and the spinal cord. And second, is the peripheral nervous system, which consists of different nerves. Let me to show you with the help of diagram. You can see here central nervous system, which comprises of brain and spinal cord. As you can see that both of these organs are found in just mid of the body. That's what it is called as the central nervous system. And around this spinal cord, different nerves are there. Okay, you can see in the whole body there are different nerves. So these nerves make the peripheral nervous system. So see here, there are three main types of neurons, like sensory, relay, and motor neurons. Sensory neuron carry impulses from sense organs to the CNS, and the relay neurons are found inside the CNS, central nervous system. Specifically, these relay neurons are found in the spinal cord, uh, which connects sensory neuron to the motor neurons. And what about the motor neuron? Motor neurons, on one side they are connected to the relay neuron, the other side they are connected to the effectors. Now, what are the effectors? Effectors, are the muscles or the glands. So we are going to just discuss the structure of the different type of neurons. So let me to just show you the diagram. You can see here in the diagram, sensory neurons and relay neurons and motor neurons are there. Now, what is the functional relationship in these three type of neurons? These sensory neurons are found in the receptors, and these neurons are connected by the receptors, and then the message goes to the spinal cord by the sensory neurons. And then in the spinal cord, as you can see, the second type of neuron, that is relay neuron, okay, which just analyze the situation. And then the message goes to the motor neurons, and these motor neurons are connected to the effectors, and effector mean glands or the muscles which give the response. Now there are two type of response. The first one is the voluntary, and the second one is involuntary response. So a voluntary response is one where you make a conscious decisions to carry out a particular actions. Therefore, it starts with your brain. Okay, because it based on your consciousness. Okay, means first we think and then we do some action. So this is voluntary action. And involuntary actions or the reflex response does not involve the brain as the coordinator of the reactions, and you are not aware you have completed it until after you have carried it out. Involuntary actions are usually ones which are essentials to basic survival and are rapid, whereas voluntary responses often take longer as we consider what the response might be before doing it. Mean involuntary responses, basically they are the automatic response, are the immediately the action is given, and this involuntary actions, there is no involvement of the brain. Now come to the next one, next topic, the reflex arc. What is the reflex arc? An involuntary or the reflex response does not involve the brain as the coordinator of the reaction, and you are not aware you have completed it until after you have carried it out. This is an automatic and rapid response to a stimulus such as touching something sharp or hot. As it does not involve the brain, our reflex response is quicker than any other type of nervous response. This helps to minimize the damage to the body. Means this reflex action, is a sudden action, that is automatic action, okay, which save our organs. Because if this action is not to be given, then may there is a damage of the organs. And you can see what is the pathway of this reflex action, this reflex arc. It starts from the receptors, which are the specific cells that are found in the sensory organs, and these receptors receive the stimulus, and then these stimulations, with the help of the receptor cell, it goes to the sensory neuron. As you can see in the diagram, sensory neuron is there, and then sensory neuron convey the message to the spinal cord. Inside the spinal cord there is a relay neuron, and then the message goes to the motor neurons, and these motor neurons are connected by the muscles, and then the response is to be given by the muscles or the glands. Now come to the next one. Here you can see, here these are the specific steps. You can see the pin, the stimulus is detected by a pain or the pressure or touch receptor in the skin. Sensory neuron sends the electrical impulses to the spinal cord or the coordinator. The electrical impulse is passed on to relay neuron in the spinal cord. The relay neuron connects to the motor neurons and passes to the impulse on. The motor neurons carries impulses to the muscles in the legs or the effector, because the muscles are the effector. The muscles will contract and pull the feet up and away from the sharp object. This is called as a response. So this is this is a series this is a series, or these are the steps by which the electrical impulses are moving, okay, and due to which the response is given. Now see synapse. What is synapse? Synapse, the junctions between the two neuron, or the gap between the two neurons. See, for example, this neuron is there and another neuron you can see. In between the two neuron there is a gap. So this gap we call as the synapse. In IGCSE biology there is not too much detail, but just a little description is there. So I will just discuss only this detail. So here you can see that some specific chemicals are secreted from the neurons, and that has to travel between the neurons. So these chemicals called as a neurotransmitter. And there are variety of neurotransmitter. For example, acetylcholine is also very common neurotransmitters. So how the message is going, the message goes from one neuron to another neuron with the help of chemical and the electricity and the electrical charges. That's what these messages we also call as the electrochemical messages. As you can see here, in the first step you see an impulse arrives at the end of the presynaptic neurons. In the second step, vesicles move towards and fuse with the presynaptic membrane. This releases the neurotransmitters into the synaptic cleft. Then the neurotransmitter diffuse across the synaptic cleft Okay, and after that you see the neurotransmitters at the uh, at the at the end, to the receptors on the postsynaptic membrane. This triggers an impulse which travels along the postsynaptic neurons, and then the neurotransmitters are recycles or destroyed once the impulse is sent. So impulse, you know very well that the electrochemical message, okay, how this impulse is moving. So these are the particular steps by which the impulses are moving from one neuron to another neuron. Now see here the sense organ, in our body. Uh, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us so many, sense organ by which we are going to sense the thing. For example, skin, sensitive to the pressure, heat, and the cold. So, and the sense, it gives the sense of touch and the sense of temperature. And the tongue, that is, the sensitive to the chemicals, or it is called as a chemoreceptors basically, and it senses the taste. And nose, sensitive to chemical, it is again, the chemoreceptor that, just feel the smell. Ear, sensitive to the sound and movement, that is hearing and balancing of the body. And eye, sensitive to the light, that is, gives the sense of sight. So these are the different, sense organ. In sense organ, there are different type of receptors which are responsible to sense different things. So chemoreceptors, okay, thermoreceptors, and mechanoreceptors. Now come to the structure and the function of eye. As you can see, the eye is a sense organ containing the receptor cells that are sensitive to light. Okay, and what are these special type of receptors are there inside the eye? That is the rod cells and the cone cells. So all these rod cells and cone cells, they have a particular job which we have to discuss it. Okay, so you can see here the sclera, that is the outermost layer, and the second layer, is choroid, and the innermost layer, is the retina, where the receptors are found. As you can see here, the cornea. Cornea, transparent lens that refracts or bends the light as it enters the eye. Iris that controls how much light enters the pupil. And lens, what the job of lens, it is transparent disc that can change the shape to focus the light onto the retina. And the retina that contains the light receptor cells, that rod cells, okay, which detect the light intensity, and the cone cell that detect the color. And optic nerve, that is, responsible to take message, okay, to carry the impulses between the eye and the brain. And the pupil, that hole that allows the light to enter the eye. So here, these are different structures. Okay, what are their functions? Now come to the pupil reflex. This is a reflex action carried out to protect the retina from damage in bright light and protect us from not seeing objects in the dim light. So in dim light, the pupils dilates. See, when when we see the dim light, when we see the things in the dark, okay, so the pupil dilates. Dilates mean widens in order to allow as much light into the eye as possible. The bright light, the pupils constrict or narrows in order to prevent too much light entering the eye and damaging the retina. See here in the bright light, if the size of pupil is not to be reduced, then a high amount of light can enters into the retina. It can damage the retina. That's what the bright light. In the bright light, the size of the pupil is contract. Now, what is the the particular mechanism that take place in the dim light, okay, or in the lighted area? So in the dim light, you can see here the radial muscles of iris contracted, and the circular muscles of iris relax, and the due to which see what happens, the pupil dilated and more light enters. And as you can see here in the bright light, what happens? The radial muscles of iris relax and the circular muscles of iris contracted and constrict. Pupils lens light enters the eye. So this is what happens in the bright light situation. Now accommodation being near are the distant object. Yes. So what is accommodation? Accommodation means if you see, like, the things that is very near to you or that is very far from you. So this is named as the accommodation. In accommodation, you can see here, if like, you are just like, seeing the object that is very near or the object that is very far from you. Okay, so what happens in the different structures of the eye? So see, the way in the lens brings about fine focusing is the accommodation. The lens is elastic and its shape can be damaged, or sorry, can be changed when the suspensory ligaments attached to it become tight or loose. The changes are brought about by the contractions and relaxation of the ciliary muscles. As you can see here, the steps, are mentioned that whenever you see the object that is very near to you, so see what happens. The ciliary muscles contract and the suspensory ligament slackens, and then the lens become fatter. So in exam, sometimes the diagram is given in which you will see that, like, the lens that is, the convex lens is shown as a fatter lens or the widened. So it means that here they are talking about the near vision. So in near vision, what happens? Okay, so ciliary muscles contract and suspensory ligaments slacken, and then lens become flatter. So light is refracted by a more by lens to focus on the near object. Now see, if you see, like, the thing that is very, like, very far from you. Okay, so see what happens, like, if the object is when the object, is like, close. See here, the ciliary muscle relax and the lens become thinner and the suspensory ligaments constrict. Okay, so the light is refracted less, allowing the eye to focus on the distant object. So if you see the thing that is very, like, like, far from you. Okay, so in this way, the different, like, parts of the eye play a different role. Now here we are going to discuss, like, the special type of receptors that are found inside the retina. As you can see, the rod and the cone cells are the two type of photoreceptors found in the eye. So what is the difference and what is the similarities? The similarity is that, like, both are found in the retina. Okay, as you can see here, the shape, that they are having a rod shape. Okay, rod cell have a rod shape and cone cell have a cone shaped. And what are the functions? The function of the rod cells is used for the monochromatic light vision, as they are more sensitive to low level of light. And the function of cone cells used for the color visions in bright light. There are three types of cone cells, each sensitive to different colors like red, green, and blue. And distribution, evenly distributed at the periphery of the retina, absent at the fovea. And but the cone cells, are concentrated at the fovea. So this is the difference, or the comparative study about the rod cells and the cone cells. Now we are going to discuss another topic, that is, that is a hormone. What is a hormone? A hormone, is a chemical substance produced by a gland and carried by the blood, which alter the activity of one or more specific target organs. As you can see, like, different glands are found in the different parts of the body. As you can see, the pituitary glands, that is the master glands. Okay, and it is situated at the base of the brain. And thyroid glands, as you can see, it is found, in the neck. Okay, and then, the pancreas is there. Okay, and the adrenal glands, that is on the kidney. Okay, and then like the ovary, which is found in the female, and testes, which is found in the male. Now we'll come to the hormones, which type of hormones these glands release, and what is their functions. Now see here, this is important, like hormones, specifically they are found in the human. For example, like the adrenaline. Adrenaline, is secreted from the adrenal glands. And what is its role? It's like readies the body for fight and flight response. Means all immediate actions are to be carried out by this adrenal glands, which like secretes the adrenaline, increases the heart and the breathing rate, dilates people. So whenever like we are having emergency action, so in emergency action there is a high amount of release of adrenaline, and this adrenaline increases heartbeat and the breathing rate and dilates our pupil, due to which we get more energy and we are going to be very much energetic. Now the second type of hormone is insulin, which is secreted from the pancreas. And what is its function? It's lower the blood glucose level. And you see here, if like if the pancreas secretes high amount of insulin, so this insulin convert the like sugar into the glycogen, which is stored in the liver. And the same pancreas also secrete glucagon, which convert the glycogen into the glucose. Now another hormone, that is testosterone, which is released from the testis, and this is the main sex hormones. So this hormone develop the secondary sexual characteristics in male. For example, like the mustache and the beard. These are the secondary sexual characteristics. Now another hormone is estrogens, which is released from the ovaries. This is the main sex hormone in female. And what is its role? Development of the secondary sexual characteristics in female and control the menstrual cycle. So these are the different glands and their hormones and what is their role. Now more about the adrenaline. See, there is also a little detail about the adrenaline. For example, you can see adrenaline is known as a fight or flight hormones, as it is produced in the situation where the body may be in danger. Means whenever like the body is in the danger, so this hormone is released more. It causes a range of different things to happen in the body, all designed to prepare it for the movement, that is like the fight or the flight. These include increasing blood glucose concentration for increased respiration in muscle cells, increasing muscles pulse rate and breathing rate. So glucose and oxygen can be delivered. So muscle cells and carbon dioxide taken away from the muscle cells more quickly, delivering or sorry diverting blood flow towards the muscles. Means these like hormone also divert the blood flow towards the muscles as away from non-essential parts of the body, such as the alimentary canal. Okay, now see, dilating the pupils. Yes, in the during like the emergency action. Okay, we need like to see the things with like having a dilated eyes. So during this the pupil size is increased. Okay, now see here the comparison nervous and the hormonal coordination or the control. See, both like both system are the system of coordination. See, nervous system that made up of nerves and brain and the spinal cord, but the endocrine system, it is made up of glands. And the nervous system, the types of message is in the form of the electrical impulse, but in the endocrine system the type of the message is chemical hormones. And what about the speed of the transmission in the nervous system and the coordination system? So see, in nervous system, the speed of transmission is very fast, but in the endocrine system, the speed of transmission of message or impulses is very slow. And here, the length of effect, yes, but is what is like, the duration of the effect. So see, the nervous coordination, is just for a short period of time. Okay, but the endocrine system, it just affects, for the long period of time. Now, another topic, that is, homeostasis. What is homeostasis? Homeostasis, is the maintenance of constant internal environment in organism despite external changes. This allows the environments to be at the optimum for cells to function. Internal condition must be maintained between the set limits. See, for example, like, the regulation of the blood glucose concentration. Whenever we eat food, okay, so the level of glucose increasing in our body. So at that time, the pancreas secretes insulin, and this insulin converts the glucose into glycogen, which is stored in the liver. In the same way, when we are hungry, or when we take food, we do not take food for a long time, then the level of sugar goes down. Okay, and in this way, uh, pancreas secretes glucagon, which converts glycogen into glucose. So this is how, like, the level of sugar is maintained. So this maintenance of sugar we call as homeostasis. Okay, maintenance of sugar, maintenance of temperature, maintenance of like, the water, maintenance of minerals in body. It is called as a homeostasis. So now come to the another topic here. See, there are two hormones that are used to regulate the blood sugar level, as we already have discussed. Glucagon and insulin. How they like, work. We already have discussed it. Here, there is the flow chart. Okay, which shows that how, like, the pancreas, perform its job, how it's really release, like, the glucagon, in which condition it releases glucagon, in which condition it releases insulin, and what is the role of insulin, what is the role of glucose. We already have discussed it. Now, another aspects of homeostasis is thermoregulation. Thermoregulation means the maintenance of temperature. If you want to understand the maintenance of temperatures, you need to understand the basic structure of the skin. As you know that the temperature, is to be maintained by, like, the hypothalamus, okay, which is found below the brain, okay, and it is also considered as the thermostat of the body. So you can see here in the skin, you can see the hairs are there, the sweat gland is there, okay, and the uh, erect and, like, some specific, the muscles are there. Okay, so we are going to just discuss these all these parts, one by one. But then, like, what is the behavior of our skin in the cold time, and what is the behavior in the hot time. So here you can see there is like, there is a flow chart, but I just want to prefer here, there's a comparative study, about the hot and the cold condition. See, when we are hot, so sweat is secreted by sweat glands, as we already has seen, like, the diagram of internal structure of the skin. This cools skin by evaporation. Heat energy from the body is lost as liquid water in the sweat becomes water vapors as state change. So you know very well that in the hot condition, there is too much sweating, and sweating means, like, the water comes out in the form of the vapors, and the evaporation is the process of cooling. So here you see, here lies flat against the skin, allowing air to freely circulate. This increases heat transfer to the environment by radiation. So this is how, this is how the temperature is maintained in the hot condition. And you know very well that maintenance of temperature is very important because all our enzyme work best at 37 centigrade temperature. This is the optimum temperature for working of enzyme in human. If the temperature increases or decreases, okay, so the function of enzyme is affected. So it is very important that the temperature is to be maintained. Now come to the cold condition. What happens in the cold condition? So in the cold condition, see, skeletal muscles contract rapidly and we shiver. Okay, these involuntary muscles contractions need energy from the respirations, and some of this is released as heat. Each erect hairs trap a layer of air around the skin, which act as an insulator that preventing heat loss by radiation. So this is like how the temperature is to be maintained in the cold condition. Now, see, if we are maintaining the temperature, if we are maintaining the body temperature, in the hot conditions, so this is, shortly called as the home or vasodilation, because in vasodilation, the blood vessel are dilated, and you know that if you just go outside and if it's a sunny day and the temperature is very high, so you will see that the face become red. Why? Because there is more flow blood and the blood flow are dilated. uh, okay, and then we are also passing too much sweat. Okay, and when the sweat comes out, then it provides the cooling effect on our body. And vasoconstriction means the blood vessel are constricted. Okay, and our hairs are erected. So see, if there is a maintenance of temperature in the cold time, so it is collectively called as the vasoconstriction, in which the blood vessel are constricted. As you can see in the diagram, see here, the heat loss by the radiation. See, sweat glands excrete sweat, which cools the skin as it evaporates. Okay, and vessel dilate to increase the blood flow to skin. As you can see, sometime the diagram is given and they ask you that is it like vasodilation or vasoconstriction. So you can see that the diagram, the hairs are in the lying down positions, and the sweat duct is filled with the sweat, and you can see even the sweat is on the surface, on the skin surface. So it is of course like the vasodilation, and how the temperature is to be maintained in the hot time. So sometimes only the diagram is given, you have to identify either it is vasodilation, vasoconstriction. Now see, come to the another diagram. This is this is vasoconstriction. See what happens here, it stands upright, trapping air around the skin. In the cold time, the hairs are in standing position and trap the air. Excellent insulators here. Erect muscles will contract. So this is how we maintain our body temperature in the cold time. This is collectively known as vasoconstriction because the blood vessels are constricted. Now, one more topic is there, because this is a very big, topic. One more subtopic is plant tropism. Tropism, basically, these are the plant's movement due to the some stimulus. And what is the stimulus? Its stimulus might be the gravity, okay, or might be the light. See, if the part of the plant is moving due to the gravity, okay, so it is called as a gravitism. If it's moving towards the gravity, it is called as a positive gravitism. If it is moving away from the gravity, it is called as a negative gravitism. In the same way, if some part of the plant are moving towards the light, so it is called as phototropism. If it is moving towards the light, so positive phototropism. If it is moving away from the light, so it is called as a negative phototropism. So you know very well that the movement of the roots, is positive gravitism, but negative phototropism. And movement of the stem or the shoot is positive phototropism but negative gravitism. So these movements of plant basically are the growth movement, because in these movement, there is a process of the growth. Means the root is moving towards the gravity. It means like the root is growing, and shoot is moving towards the light. Means the shoot is like growing. Now see here the same slides where like you can study more about like the tropism. But see here one more thing added here in the slide, that auxins. What is auxins? Auxin, is considered the growth substance, or some in some books you will see that it's written like the plant hormones. So these responses are controlled by the plant hormones called auxins, which cause cells elongation. Auxins are made in the shoot tips and move through the plant by diffusion and active transport, short distances, or via the phloem, longer distances. So see, gravitism, what is the role of auxin? Okay, and what is the role of auxin in the phototropism? So see, when like the auxin, that is a growth hormone, when it accumulated at the tip of the uh, root, so the root move towards the gravity, and when the same auxin just store at the tip of the shoot, so it moves towards the light. As you can see here, phototropic response auxins are produced in the shoot tip, which are then transported down. The light causes the auxins to move to the shady sides of the shoot. The auxin causes cell elongation on the shady side. The cells grow faster on the shaded side, thus the shoot bends towards the light. As you can see in the diagram, that see how like the the shoot showing the negative gravitism, but positive phototropism. Now the last topic here is the weed killers. What are the weed killers? Weed killers are used to selectively kills plant. One of the main herbicides contain an organic compound known as 2,4-D, which is a synthetic plant hormone. When a plant is exposed to 2,4-D, it results in uncontrolled growth, leading to the plant's death. So this is the like the topic about the coordination and response. Okay, I hope you understand each and everything. But still, if you have any question, okay, you can ask me. Okay, my like the WhatsApp number is there. Okay, my email address is there. Okay, and also you can find the same video on my YouTube channel, and the same video you will find it on the TikTok. So in the comments, you can ask me if still you need like uh, have any confusion. So hope you understand very well. Okay, so if you have any question, you can ask me.